Don't sign. The courier shouted, filthy sneakers squeaking on the marble floor, torn flash drive clenched in his fist as he shoved the guard aside. She, the flawless CEO in a tailored white dress, froze with her pen above the $20 million contract, fingers trembling. And at that exact second the doors swung open, her husband entered, gripping a phone that glowed with a single red message, everything exposed. She stepped forward, light spilling across her perfect features, powerful, untouchable, yet panic quivered in the corners of her eyes. This contract is not just paper. If it collapses, heads will roll, she whispered, low but loud enough for every ear. The courier squeezed the flash drive so hard it almost cracked. Her husband raised the phone higher, letting the cameras capture the burning letters. Lawyers exchanged looks, guards froze. Everyone felt it, a career or a life would fall tonight. You betrayed us both, the husband spat, smile curving into a predator's mask. The courier moved half a step closer, eyes lit not by fear but certainty. She dragged her tongue across her lips, trying to keep the mask of control, but her voice betrayed her. You have no idea what's at stake. Not $20 million. My name. My empire. And your future. Silence collapsed over the room like a suffocating curtain. And in it pulsed one truth, someone here was already broken. The courier slammed the flash drive on the glass table, a sharp crack. She flinched, hand brushing her neckline, nails grazing her skin as if to steady her breath. Look inside, he hissed. You'll see who she really is. The husband's eyes narrowed, sliding from the drive to her unbuttoned collar, to the faint trace of crimson lipstick smudged against the rim of a wine glass on the table. His grip on the phone tightened. Tell them, or I will. She laughed, low, sharp, a blade hidden in silk. Tell them what? That a delivery boy stormed my boardroom with a toy? That my husband, who never earned a cent of this empire, is willing to destroy it in front of the world? Her gaze locked with the courier's, pupils dark and unreadable. Her perfume, heavy, intoxicating, hung between them, and for a moment the air itself seemed to burn. The phone buzzed again. The red message blinked twice before vanishing, replaced by a file name, Final Evidence. MP4. The husband's thumb hovered above play. The courier leaned closer, his voice steady, eyes locked on hers. If he presses it, everything burns. If you sign it, you're finished. Choose. Her pen slipped from her hand, clattering against the glass. She placed her palm flat on the contract, nails scraping across the ink. For the first time her voice cracked, barely audible, almost desperate. You don't understand. This isn't my secret. The phone lit the husband's face in red glow as his finger dropped. Cut. The husband's thumb hovered, then pressed. The boardroom screens flickered alive. A grainy video filled the wall, her signature, her voice, but with another man's shadow leaning close, whispering figures, codes, promises. Gasps rippled. The CEO's jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. Fake, she snapped. You all know how easy it is to fabricate. She leaned on the table, posture deliberate, neckline dipping, daring anyone to call her bluff. The courier snatched the flash drive back from the glass and raised his voice over the chaos. This isn't fake. I saw what's inside. I know who gave it to me. The husband's eyes burned. Then say it. His voice shook the air. Say who you serve, or I will burn it all down. Lawyers whispered, guards shifted, cameras clicked. Every second felt like a match waiting to ignite. The CEO's hand shot out, closing around the courier's wrist. Warm, firm, almost intimate. Her perfume clung to his skin. Don't, she whispered, lips grazing his ear. If you name them, you die before you leave this room. The courier yanked free. His chest heaved. He had two paths, expose her now and risk everything, or buy time. He slammed his fist on the contract, ripping the corner with one swift move. If this is signed, I'll reveal everything live. No more secrets. Gasps. Lawyers scrambled. The pen rolled off the table, clinking to the floor. For a heartbeat, the room froze. Then, bang! The main doors burst open. Security stormed in, faces pale, radios crackling. Bomb threat. Evacuate immediately. Shouts erupted. Chairs scraped. Papers flew. The giant screens went black. Her husband seized her arm, pulling hard. "You're coming with me." She resisted, eyes locked on the courier, a storm in her gaze. "Don't let him take me," she breathed, raw, almost pleading. The courier's pulse thundered. Guards pressed closer. The contract lay torn beneath his hand. The choice was his: follow her into danger, or let her be dragged away by the man who just exposed her. And then the lights cut out. Cut. Darkness swallowed the boardroom. Screams echoed, heels clattered, glass shattered in the confusion. The courier's hand pressed flat against the torn contract, the only anchor in the chaos. A flashlight beam cut through one of the guards. "Stay down," someone yelled. But he didn't. He grabbed the flash drive and pushed forward. The CEO's wrist brushed his as she steadied herself in the dark. Her husband's grip still locked on her other arm, dragging her toward the exit. "She's mine," the husband growled. The courier lunged, ripping her free for just a second. Her perfume mixed with smoke, dizzying. "Let me go," she hissed, torn between two men. Then, from the hallway, a new voice rose above the alarms. "Step away from her." A woman entered, sharp suit, sharp eyes, federal badge glinting in the dim light. "The FBI." Gasps sliced through the room. "This company is under investigation. Nobody leaves until I have the drive." Her gaze locked on the courier's clenched fist. Not the husband. Not the CEO. Him. For a moment, time froze. He could feel every eye pinning him down. He tightened his grip, sweat slick on his palm. "You don't want this," he shot back. "What's on here burns everyone in this room." The agent stepped closer, voice low but lethal. "Exactly. That's why it belongs to me." The CEO staggered upright, brushing glass off her silk dress, chin lifted like a queen facing execution. "You think I'll let you take my empire?" she spat. Her husband sneered. "Empire? Or cage?" His phone still glowed red, the file final evidence. MP4 paused on screen. The FBI agent's hand hovered near her gun. The courier's chest tightened. Every option was suicide. Hand it over to the agent? Protect the CEO? Side with the husband who clearly hated her? None of it made sense, and yet, his instincts screamed, "Don't let go of the drive." He shoved it into his jacket and stepped back. The alarms wailed louder. Emergency lights flickered on, blood red. The agent barked, "Stop him." Guards surged forward. The CEO's voice cut through the din, raw and desperate, "Don't give it to them, you don't know what's coming." The courier spun toward the exit, only to find the doorway blocked by a figure in shadows, holding another flash drive. Identical. Cut. The shadow stepped into the crimson emergency light. Another flash drive glinted in his palm, identical to the one the courier held. Gasps tore through the room. "Which one?" the agent demanded, eyes narrowing, "is real?" The CEO's face paled, but she forced a smile, lips trembling at the edges. There was never supposed to be two. Her husband's smirk widened. "Now you see it. You were never in control." His phone camera hovered, recording every second. The courier's heart pounded, his drive suddenly felt heavier, almost poisonous in his grip. He made his move. Shoving past the guards, he hurled himself toward the shadow. Their bodies collided, both drives clattering across the floor. Hands scrambled, nails scraping. A sharp elbow hit his jaw, but he wrestled one of the drives free and rolled back to his feet. His chest heaved. The FBI agent leveled her gun. "Drop it. Now." For the first time, the courier raised his chin, meeting her stare. "If you want it, shoot me." Silence fell, thick, stunned. Even the alarms seemed distant. The CEO's eyes widened. For a split second, respect flickered there. A spark. She whispered, barely audible, "He's not bluffing." The agent hesitated. That was the win, a sliver of control. He backed toward the broken table, drive hidden in his fist. But then the husband's voice sliced the silence, "Play it. Right here, right now. Let's end this circus." His thumb hovered again over the glowing file. The CEO snapped. "Don't," she screamed, voice raw, desperate, more than fear in her tone. Everyone froze. Why? What truth was worse than the end of her empire? The courier's pulse roared in his ears. The husband sneered. "What are you hiding, darling?" And then, the second drive in the shadow's hand blinked with a tiny green light. Recording. Live streaming. Cut. The blinking green light stabbed through the dark like a warning siren. The shadow lifted the second drive higher, his voice calm, steady. "The world is already watching. Everything you do now is live." A ripple of panic swept the room. Phones came up, faces turned. The boardroom was no longer private, it was a stage. The courier's throat tightened. His hand clenched around the drive he'd fought for, every instinct screaming to protect it. The FBI agent barked, "Drop it." Her gun cocked. The CEO's husband sneered, "Let him hold it. The more he resists, the more guilty he looks." The courier swallowed hard. He wasn't guilty. But with the cameras locked on him, how could anyone believe otherwise? The CEO stepped closer, voice low, dangerous. "Give it to me. I can bury this before it spreads." Her perfume, her presence, overwhelming. For a moment, he wanted to believe her. But her husband's grin was venom. Bury it? Or bury him? The room erupted in murmurs, the pressure suffocating. The courier made his move. Heart racing, he shoved the drive into his pocket, then turned on the shadow. "If you're streaming, then you already know who the target is. Say it." His voice cracked, desperation breaking through. The shadow tilted his head, unreadable. "Not yet. You're not ready." The guards lunged. He ducked, chaos exploding again, tables overturned, papers flying. Someone screamed as glass shattered. He fought through the crush, a fist slamming into his ribs. Pain ripped through him, but he held on, staggering toward the door. The drive was still his. Small victory. But then, betrayal. The CEO herself stepped into his path. She pressed a hand against his chest, eyes glittering, lips so close her whisper was almost a kiss, "I can't let you leave. You don't understand what's inside. It destroys me, and it destroys you." For a heartbeat, he froze. Her husband laughed behind her. The FBI agent shouted, "Take him down." Guards closed in. And then the shadow's voice thundered over the chaos, "If you open that drive, you won't just expose her. You'll expose yourself." The room erupted after the shadow's words. Expose yourself? The phrase bounced through the chaos like a curse. The courier's chest heaved, sweat dripping down his temple. His ribs ached from the blow, his vision blurred. But his grip on the drive never loosened. The FBI agent advanced, gun still raised. "Drop it now, or I swear." Don't, the CEO snapped, stepping between them. For a moment, the agent faltered. Why protect him, the husband sneered, filming her every move. Unless he's holding more than your secrets. The courier forced himself to stand taller. You want to know what's inside? Fine. But not here. Not while his finger stabbed toward the shadow, who hadn't moved. The man's calm gaze cut through the chaos. You're closer than you think. But the truth won't save you. It will burn you. Who are you? The courier demanded, voice raw. His throat scraped with every word. Tell them. His body shook, exhaustion clawing at him. Yet he took a step closer, defiant. The shadow finally smirked. You really don't remember, do you? The CEO froze. Remember? She repeated, voice tight, almost broken. All eyes shifted back to the courier. His stomach twisted. A strange chill rippled through him, as if some locked memory threatened to surface. He shook his head violently. No. I don't know you. The shadow raised the blinking drive, green light pulsing like a heartbeat. Then watch. Let the world remind you who you are. The FBI agent lunged forward, but the shadow was faster. He slammed the drive into a nearby console. The screens flared to life again, static crackling. The courier staggered back, his knees nearly buckling. His strength was draining. His hand clenched his own drive so tight his knuckles whitened. The CEO touched his arm lightly, almost tender. Don't look, she whispered. Once you see, nothing will ever be the same. On the giant screen, a frozen frame appeared. Grainy. Distorted. A man's face. The courier's breath caught in his throat. The figure looked like him. Tell them the truth, the shadow said, voice slicing through the silence. Or I will. The frozen face on the screen sharpened. His own eyes stared back at him, colder, older, speaking words he couldn't hear. The courier staggered, his legs buckling. That's not me, he rasped, shaking his head. It can't be. The boardroom murmured, voices rising, feeding the doubt. The FBI agent smirked. Every frame says otherwise. You're not a witness. You're a suspect. The CEO's husband seized the moment. He thrust his phone toward the crowd, streaming live. Look at him. The fraud. The traitor who broke into our lives. The comments poured in, a storm of judgment flashing across the screen. The courier's throat closed, panic crushing him. His fingers slipped, the flash drive almost falling. His last piece of leverage, about to be lost. And then the worst cut, the CEO herself pulled back. Her hand, which had lingered on his arm, dropped away. Her face hardened into steel. Maybe they're right, she whispered. The words sliced deeper than any blow. Betrayal. His breath collapsed into silence. Security surged, pinning him down. His cheek slammed into the cold glass table, shards biting his skin. The flash drive was torn from his grip. He fought, thrashing, but strength drained from his battered body. For a moment, he wanted to let go, to stop. He had nothing left. But then, a flicker of hope. As the guard passed the drive to the agent, a small slip, a second, quick as lightning. The CEO's gaze darted, almost imperceptible, and her hand brushed the drive. When it landed in the agent's palm, it was wrong. Lighter. Empty. The courier's eyes widened. She'd switched it. His chest burned with renewed breath. She hadn't abandoned him fully. Not yet. But why? To save herself, or to save him? The shadow's voice rose again, cold and final. Enough games. If he won't confess, then I'll show the rest. He lifted his blinking drive toward the console once more. The screens went black. And then, a single phrase appeared in red letters: "He killed her." The words blazed across the screens: "He killed her." The room erupted, shouts, gasps, phones raised higher. The courier's stomach dropped. His voice cracked as he shouted back, "I never killed anyone." But the crowd didn't believe. Even the guards faltered, uncertain if they were holding a witness or a murderer. The FBI agent's smirk widened. "Finally, the truth is bleeding out." She waved the fake drive in her hand, convinced it was real. "And once this is opened, every lie will end." The CEO's eyes darted to the courier, unreadable. Was it pity, fear, or strategy? Her husband leaned in, poisonous. "Tell them whose blood is on your hands, or I will." The courier's ribs ached, his skin burned from cuts, his strength nearly gone. Yet something flared inside him. He forced himself upright, shaking off the guard's grip. His voice tore through the chaos. "If I'm guilty, then let me prove it myself." Every head turned. Even the shadow paused, blinking drive still glowing. The courier grabbed the torn $20 million contract from the table, holding it high. "This paper isn't about money. It's about silence. If it gets signed, the truth dies." He ripped another piece, shards of ink fluttering like ash. "I won't let you bury it." The CEO froze, lips parting as though he'd revealed more than he knew. Her husband snarled. "You don't even understand what you're protecting." The shadow laughed softly. "Oh, he understands enough. Enough to destroy himself." The courier's chest heaved. He made his choice, reckless, defiant. He hurled the torn contract into the air, scattering fragments across the cameras, the crowd, the world watching live. No more secrets. For a moment, silence. Then the screens flickered again. This time, not words, not faces, but a video. Grainy, shaky, shot at night. A woman's scream. A hand in frame. Blood on concrete. And the voice, his voice. "Finish it." The scream on the video echoed like a knife in the air. The courier staggered, hands clutching his head. "That's my voice. My voice." But he couldn't remember. Blood on concrete. The command, "Finish it." The boardroom roared in chaos. Half the crowd jeered, half recoiled, none believed him innocent. The FBI agent seized the moment. "Arrest him. Now." Guards lunged again. He fought, weak punches, desperate shoves, but they overpowered him. His knees slammed against the floor, his cheek grinding into glass shards. His lungs burned. He was finished. Then, her voice. The CEO. "Stop." Every eye turned. She stepped forward, heels sharp against the floor, posture regal, but her hands trembled. "That video, it wasn't him. It was me." Gasps ripped the air. The courier froze. "What?" She swallowed, eyes glittering under the harsh lights. "The night she died. I was there. And I told him to take the blame." Silence crashed like thunder. Her husband's face twisted into fury. "Liar. You'll destroy everything." He thrust his phone toward her, the red-lit final evidence. MP4 still waiting. The courier's pulse thundered. Why would she confess now? To protect him, or to manipulate everyone again? Her gaze flicked to him, soft, almost human. "I thought I buried it. But he carried it instead. And I let him." The shadow's laugh cut through, cold and sharp. "You're both wrong. Neither of you pulled the trigger." His blinking drive pulsed brighter, a green heartbeat. "The real killer stands in this room, and they've been hiding behind both of you." Chaos erupted, shouts and accusations colliding. The courier's head spun, his body trembling on the edge of collapse. Every truth, every lie, tangled into a storm he couldn't escape. And then the screens lit again, not with video, but with a countdown. 10 seconds. 9. 8. The courier gasped, eyes wide, strength gone but heart still pounding. Whatever was about to appear would burn them all. The countdown flashed across every screen. 7. 6. 5. The courier's heart pounded like a drum. He was on his knees, glass biting his skin, strength almost gone. The CEO stood frozen, her husband screaming into his phone, the FBI agent aiming her gun, the shadow waiting in silence. 4. 3. At 2 seconds, the screens burst alive. Not blood. Not screams. Documents. Thousands of them, pages scrolling, contracts, bribes, shell companies, signatures. The $20 million deal was just a fragment. The entire empire was rotten. Gasps erupted. Faces drained of color. The world was watching, and the lies were burning. The husband roared. Shut it down. He lunged for the console, but the courier, with the last surge of strength, hurled himself forward. They crashed together, fists flying, rage against desperation. The drive in the husband's pocket slipped free. The courier seized it, blood on his knuckles, and slammed it onto the table. The shadow's voice boomed. Now they know. But the choice is yours. His eyes glinted at the courier. Finish it, or let it end unfinished, like before. The courier's breath rasped. He remembered now, the night of the scream. He hadn't killed. He had run. He had carried her secret, protected the wrong people, buried his own life in someone else's crime. No more. His hand slammed the enter key. The feeds exploded outward, every channel, every device, every phone. The truth was no longer theirs to twist. It belonged to the world. The FBI agent's gun lowered. The CEO's lips parted, tears trembling. You saved me, she whispered. But the courier shook his head. No. I saved myself. The husband was dragged down, curses drowned by the roar of the crowd. The shadow faded into the throng, leaving only his words, now you're free. The courier rose slowly, battered, bleeding, but unbroken. The lights blazed back to life, the contract torn, the lies destroyed. For the first time, the weight lifted. He wasn't a pawn. Not a victim. Not a suspect. He walked toward the exit, the world outside erupting in noise, cameras, flashes. And yet, his voice cut through, calm, steady, powerful. I lost everything. And that's how I won it back.